Hello, I'm Tracy with MeatRx, and I'm here today with another success story podcast. And I'm here with Daniel. Hi, Daniel.
Hi,
How are you today?
I'm good. Good. I just got off work and I'm excited to be here.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so can you start out by telling me your story of what was life like before carnivore, what health conditions you had, what kind of food you ate?
So I guess it starts a little bit before carnivore, but I was really obese and I started off at about 260 pounds and I had recently lost my father. He passed away and it kind of lit a fire under my butt to make a change because I was on the same path and he died at 59. So I didn't want to leave my kids early and was looking for any reason that I could to lose some weight. I found keto and I started the keto process and went down the keto rabbit hole, lost a ton of weight, did some fasting along with it. And then the fasting was real mild and light. And then I started going more animal based during my keto and finding that I didn't have to count macros, that um, the weight was dropping just as easily and less headache, no inputting your numbers into an app to see if you met your daily limits of carbs. And I just lost a ton of weight. I mean, I dropped all the way down to 135 pounds. And then after going fully carnivore, I bumped back up to about 150 to 155 pounds. So
Oh,
from
awesome.
260. So
Oh,
I
from
lost
260.
260 pounds down to 135. And then after eating all meat, I started to put more muscle back on. And now I'm at about 150 to 155, depending on the week. It fluctuates in between there. So.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry to hear about your father, but
He was
I,
a good. I mean, it's one of those things. It was his final lesson. Learning that his lesson in life was that food is the killer too, and I learned from his lesson that he taught and changed my life. So.
yeah, that's good.
I also had gout. I didn't mention that, but I had really bad gout since I was the age of 18, and I'm 36 now. And so going keto helped drop my blood pressure, drop my uric acid, and my gout flare-ups went from once or twice a month to every few months, and then I have not had a gout flare-up in over a year since going carnivore.
Wow, awesome. So, how did you hear about the carnivore, or did you hear about it in the keto community, or?
So I have a good friend who talked about it to me. He was doing keto, and I was kind of following his footsteps. He was a 500-pound man, and he lost a ton of weight as well. But he's now in the mid 200s, so he's even more of a success story than me. But as far as how I first heard about it was through him, and also watching the Petersons, both Michaela and Dr. Jordan Peterson. I watched them on YouTube with Joe Rogan, and then I met Dr. Baker on there as well.
Oh, okay, cool.
I didn't meet him in person on there, but I watched his videos.
Right. Oh, yeah. Right. So, did you have a difficult time transitioning from keto to carnivore? And can you compare the two? What did you like about keto better than carnivore, or did you have something more that you liked with carnivore than keto?
So transitioning from keto to carnivore was relatively simple. I would say the first 3 months, I still had a lot of sugar, or not sugar, but sweet cravings. They were just still present. I wasn't, eating sugar on keto, but like Rebel ice cream or Quest bars or any of the keto, like erythritol, monk fruit, stevia, anything that stimulated that sweet treat. I still had kind of like in the back of my mind that I wanted it. I didn't really need it, and they weren't hunger signals, but I just wanted it. And then after about 3 months into the carnivore diet, those cravings subsided. Um, but going from standard American diet to keto diet was the biggest transition for me. That was way more difficult. Going from having all the beer and pizza and burgers and all that to vegetables basically and fake keto treats. They just it was a tough transition, but I was really motivated by the passing of my father, so I wasn't going to give up. I like to sometimes still take part in keto treats. My birthday was in August, and so I had some keto treats for my birthday time period, and occasionally I'll have some Rebel ice cream, but generally speaking, it's primarily made from animal product and it's sweetened with erythritol. I do find that it's difficult to get it out of my mind after I go back into it, so I try to limit how often I go back to the keto treats. I generally stick to mostly just meat, eggs. Occasionally I'll have some dairy and cheese, but I don't have milk or anything like that. But mostly like no carbs, zero carb foods is what I eat.
Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, so like the treats, do you kind of for birthdays, for holidays, that kind of thing? Is that what you mainly focus for?
Yeah, I'm not a zealot by any stretch of the imagination. I believe that life should be enjoyed. And when I eat those treats, I'm not eating for nutrition. I'm eating because that's what I want to celebrate a little bit. And I'm not nourishing my body with those foods. It's quite the opposite. It's taking part in a pleasure experience rather than a nutritional experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so for my birthday, for holidays, stuff like that, I'll limit it, of course, but yeah, I just take part very occasionally, once in a blue moon, really, I guess, or even less than that, because it's really only about 3 or 4 times a year that I'll consider straying.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So have you like influenced anyone else to change their eating?
I try not to be pushy with it, but I do have a success story to share with my friends and family. I got my mom to try the carnivore diet for 30 days. It was not for her. She didn't particularly enjoy the lack of variety of foods, but she still eats animal-based keto. She was already keto, seeing as how successful I was on keto. And then she tried the carnivore diet, had a good success. She liked the way she felt, but wanted more variety in her diet. My girlfriend also, she is more keto, animal-based keto. I find that a lot of the people that I recommend to, they're able to do keto a bit more readily because there's more options to it. But for those who do go carnivore, they all say they feel great. It's just that sticking to it for some of them is challenging because they know that they can go back and still have good success with keto. So pure carnivore, I don't believe is for everybody, but I do believe that animal-based keto can be for everyone. So.
Okay, so like you lost some of your weight on keto. Did you lose most of it on keto and then a little on carnivore?
I would say I lost the majority of my weight on keto. Yeah, between keto and fasting, that's where I lost most of my weight. And then it was mostly animal based for like the last 6 months of my keto.
Mm-hmm.
But what I really gained gained really is muscle from going carnivore. I kind of shrunk down to a small stature between fasting and keto. And I wasn't eating as high a protein level, and I wasn't eating as high a fat level. And I was in a constant caloric deficit. When I started to reduce the amount of fasting that I was doing, I still fast, but when I reduced the amount of fasting and allowed myself free range to eat, I put on a lot of muscle. I mean, my frame now compared to what it was when I was at my lowest weight, I'm a much more solid frame now without a whole lot of exercise. I don't exercise very often. I'm an active person, but not overly active. And I think that just eating all this meat and animal products has helped me rebuild the proteins in my body to fill in my frame a bit more and not look as petite.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So tell me about your fasting. What kind, like do you do extended fasting or intermittent or?
Yeah, so I implemented the snake diet in conjunction with keto and carnivore. And Cole Robinson on YouTube has helped me with that as well. I did extended fasting. I've done the longest fast I've done, I believe, is 8 days. I think 8 days is the longest I've gone. And that was really just more for a personal goal. I don't particularly enjoy 8 days of fasting, but you know, I would do 48 to 72 hours regularly with consistency. One meal a day is probably the easiest thing I think I've ever done in terms of fasting. But yeah, I think that fasting is good for most people, and it teaches discipline.
Yeah, I believe that. So your one meal a day, do you just did that when you were fasting? Do you do one meal a day now?
To be honest with you, there's no rhyme or reason to what I do now. I fast when I feel like I want to fast, and I eat when I want to eat now. Now that I've attained my weight loss goals and journeys, maintaining or losing weight is not a problem for me. And if I wanted to drop 10 pounds, I could do it in a week or week and a half. I can probably drop a half pound to 3/4 of a pound a day if I target that as a goal. And I don't want to, but I mean, that's what I found that I have for like a lever of how I could control my weight. And, you know, with discipline, you can go on a 72-hour fast with one meal and then do it again, and then one meal, and then do it again for 72, and then just repeat that process. All of a sudden, you're 9 days in, 10 days in, and you're down 8, 9 pounds.
Yeah. Wow, that's cool. So you don't exercise a lot, but you did put on a lot of muscle?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I have some dumbbells in the house, and I have you know, I've gone to the gym occasionally. I don't really like cardio all that much, but you know, I do a lot of body weight exercises. Like when I do exercise, I do more like burpees and push-ups, and I'll do just holding my own body weight or using my body weight as resistance. And then I have some Bowflex dumbbells that I do with adjustable weights that you know, I can build a bit more muscle with, but it's few and far between. I'd say once or twice a week. I have some kettlebells that I use as well, but it's
Okay.
real inconsistent, and I don't work out to gain muscle. I work out to stay healthy. So
Well, just eating meat puts on muscle.
yeah, and that's what I found is that just eating the meat, my frame just kind of filled in, and I have a bit more of a toned look without looking flabby. So
Mhm. Right, right. That's great. So your gout and your weight loss, all and the muscle building, that all happened with carnivore. Did you get rid of gout with keto or just with the carnivore only?
I reduced my gout with keto, but I didn't get rid of it. I was still having some flare-ups with keto, but since going carnivore, I've had zero, zero flare-ups. And I can't say whether or not it's a direct contributor of going carnivore or if it's my body finally flushing all of the toxins out of the blood with the uric acid and the crystals and all that. But I can say with certainty that it's been the best year in terms of my health that I've ever had. Um, no, no flare-ups has been the first time in my adult life that I've gone this long without any gout attacks. I mean, I still have the scars of gout where my, you know, the big knuckle on my toe is kind of has, you know, remnants of the buildup, and you know, it doesn't look like it's flat anymore. It still has a little bit of a bump on there, but you know, as far as the flare-ups, they're gone. I haven't had any issues, and it's not sensitive at all. If I bump my toe, I don't have a fear of a gout flare-up. Uh, you know, I can active. If I want to run, I can run without fear of hurting my feet because I'm so heavy that the trauma to the feet would cause a flare-up. It just doesn't. I don't have that fear anymore. So,
Wow, that's great. I'm
yeah.
sure that's pretty painful, gout is, isn't it?
Honestly, it is the worst pain that I have ever experienced in my life, and I don't really wish it on anyone. It's miserable. It's quite literally miserable. And to try and get treatment for it was miserable as well, because you go and you ask for pain relief from your doctors. And when you ask for a pain killer, they just look at you as if you're a drug-seeking individual, because I'm a young man and I fit the profile because I'm coming in asking for pain relief, and it was a miserable experience. So changing my diet and not having to go and hang my head in front of doctors to ask for pain relief has been a blessing as well.
Yeah, I bet. So I appreciate you so much sharing your story, your success story with everyone. I know it'll help many people, and I thank you for coming on the show and just
I'm glad you asked me here.
taking the time.
Yeah, it's great. It was so you guys caught me at a random, and it was really nice to hear from you and get the request to hear my story. I'm glad to share it. I've actually been featured on the snake diet before, and I've been featured with Primal Edge Health, and now MeatRx has reached out to me as well. So it's kind of interesting to see the community coming together and doing stories on the members. So,
Awesome, Daniel. Thank you so much.
well, you're welcome, and have a good night. Take
You
care.
too. Bye-bye.